Hey, thanks for joining me today. I know you've seen the Parts Express box. Anybody who's gotten speaker parts before, man, they know that this packing tape can mean nothing but good things inside that box, right? Uh, as long as I'm going to show you what's in the box, I'm going to go ahead and give you a recap of the projects that I've done, the projects that I'm working on. If this is your first time joining me, thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching, and I invite all comments. Just glad that you're watching. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I just love speakers, man. And I'm passionate about, especially the bang for the buck stuff. That's my favorite. Taking old cheap speakers and making them sound better, rebuilding speakers, making speakers from scratch, the bang for the buck budget speakers and testing those. So, that's my kind of sweet spot. I'm not into the super high-end stuff. I don't claim to be an audiophile by any means. I don't claim to be a speaker designer. Do I build speakers? Yeah. I guess if you had to call me something, it would be a speaker builder. But, it's not something that I do full-time. I have a full-time job, and this is just my hobby and my passion. Again, thanks for joining me. So let's get to it. What's inside the box, huh? Let's check it. So if you saw a corny little fun video I did a while back, it was I had made what do you call that, DLM project out of exciters, and I did it from a Parts Express precision port bass reflex kit. And so I went ahead and ordered the next size up. The one that I had worked on before, which is actually sitting over here, if you can see it, those are just kind of like in limbo right now. I kind of cut open one and took an exciter out. But this one here should be a 3-inch port. So pretty nice looking. These bass reflex ports, you're going to have, two flared ends. One is for mounting, one is for inside the cabinet. And you've got a couple of like attaching rings. You would probably want to use glue to make it like permanent. And then you've got a piece of pipe that they give you that you can trim to size to your tuning frequency. Now, when you're using a flared port, it is important to use the precision port calculator that's online, because these calculate out a whole bunch different than just a straight piece of pipe. So make sure that you're not using the same dimensions you would for a regular straight pipe if you're using a flared port, because it's going to change everything. So like if I want to use this whole port, if I had a box big enough for it, it would go kind of something like this. And this would be about a 17-inch port, give or take. It's a pretty big port, that's for sure. Take a heck of a cabinet for that. But the reason that I bought this was actually so that I could make another cardboard speaker. It's fun. That's all. The only reason I do it is it's fun. It's kind of like experimenting, and it's cool to see what happens. But anyway, so that's why I bought this. And then my other motive for it was that I thought, well, maybe on one of these other speakers I could use a bigger port. Like maybe on the RCAs here, possibly, if it would fit. Now that I'm seeing this thing, it's enormous. So I don't think that that would fit on there too good. That's almost the size of a speaker. But anyway, that's what's inside this box. And I have some other goodies too. All right. So I did get some more glue sticks because I love to hot glue. Let's see, I've got these dust covers. And the reason I got these was actually to experiment a little bit with these flared ports and the exciters and the cardboard speaker box. The thought process was stick it inside like that. They actually transmit vibration through the box, through the port, the plastic, and through this piece. And they do emit sound. Exciters, I've got some of the smaller ones, the 5-watt versions, which coincidentally have the best looking frequency response. Don't ask me why. And they're super easy to use, and they're pretty cheap. And then I've also got some more of the 25 watt exciters. And as luck would have it, I got an email, I think it was yesterday, from Parts Express saying, you know, save 20% on exciters. We're so excited. I appreciate it, but I already bought all these exciters. I wish I would have known they had a sale coming up. Well, anyway, yeah, so I've got another cardboard speaker project coming up that is going to be just for fun. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm kind of looking forward to it and seeing what happens. I might also try to kind of modify those cardboard speakers and do a little bit more with those too. All right, so now I'm sitting here with a couple of my favorite speakers in the world, and I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding. Some of you may have exposure to super high-end speakers, and for me, I've always been kind of more in the, say, mid-range, decent quality speakers, right? That's what my budget could afford. And these speakers, I actually bought them in around 1995, I want to say. And I think I spent about 350 bucks on them. And I'll tell you what, these little things jam, and they are fun, and they sound good. This is the Energy 3.1E. And yeah, this is a speaker I'm really, really happy with. I've even tried changing out the woofers, and honestly, I like the original woofers better. They sound better in here. You pull them out, you look at them, you think, well, this is just a plastic cone and a little tiny magnet, and it can't sound good, right? But I'm telling you, man, the Canadians, they know how to make speakers, that's for sure. And this little 3/4 inch tweeter, I mean, it rocks. I mean, it really sounds nice. This cabinet, it's built like a tank. I bet you could probably use these as, you know, jack stands underneath a car. They're so thick. This lower area here, this is a bass reflex port that's actually kind of rifled with a like a foam insert in the end. And this entire bottom here is chambered and then insulated. So whatever they had going on with their design philosophy, you know, they packed it into that little speaker and sold it at one heck of a price. As a matter of fact, I've got a bigger set of Energies over here that are the big brother to these. I'll show you those real quick. So this is the Energy 4.1Es. And these have got like a bigger cabinet. They're way heavier, way bigger. They've got a 1-inch tweeter instead of a 3/4 inch tweeter. And they've got the same size woofer, but it's a completely different design. And they were like probably twice the price. I did not buy these brand new though. I got these used at a really good price. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a review on these. First, I figure I'd give you a quick recap on all the different weird projects I got going on with these speakers, okay? All right, so we already talked about these Energy 3.1s. Something else about these speakers that I really like, this fake wood stuff, it's almost like Formica. I mean, it looks and feels like wood, but it's actually like Formica, and it's tough. I mean, these things, this is about the only damage that's on these cabinets after being in, you know, countless number of conditions. All right, moving right along. I've got the Realistic MC 1800 project. This one here I just did a video on. I've not done anything with it yet. Hey, look at that. That's a fancy removable grill, huh? That was just luck. But yeah, this is a 8-inch two-way system, similar to this. This is an 8-inch two-way system, except they're on an entirely different level. Now, when I'm done with these, they might sound as good as these ones, but I kind of doubt it. I did have to redo the grills on the Energies, and I just used the material from Parts Express that you get, the cheaper stuff, and some 3M spray adhesive. But they look pretty much like brand new. The only difference is the Parts Express grill material. It's actually more like a dark brown, more so than a black. Different, but with this cabinet, it actually looks really good. So the other project I have is this RCA 12-inch three-way system. And right now I'm in the middle of bass tuning this. So I've got one cabinet with sound deadener in it, this cabinet without. It's been braced up. Both cabinets are braced up. I need to finish lining them with the sound deadener and then retest them. Right now the only thing hooked up is the woofer. The other project that I have that I'm sure you guys have seen before, but I'll show you again because it's like super cool. This is a Jensen CS315. It's a 15-inch three-way system, and this has been gusseted. It's got insulation, different crossover. It's got a Dayton Series 2 woofer in it that absolutely pounds. I'm using a Dayton full-range PA speaker with a chamber behind it, and then this Marantz, this replica Marantz tweeter from Parts Express, which I really like that. I think that this phenolic ring tweeter actually sounds better than the Dayton Classic Silk Dome tweeter. At least it did in this application. And I've got this big old port that I had gotten from eBay, shipped straight from China, but it works. So this is a pretty cool one. Depending on how the sound deadener works in the RCA cabinets, I might even take these back apart and do these with the same thing. Anyway, that's it for the projects that I got going on right now. All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick review of these. These energy speakers are some of my favorites. I mean, this was a purchase that, I'll tell you how it happened actually. Originally, back in the 80s, I bought some Sound Dynamics 12S's. Those are phenomenal speakers, and they were simple, but man, did they rock out. Somewhere along the line, I sold those speakers, and my older brother wound up getting the next generation, which were called, I believe, CM700s, and they were very similar to the 12S, except that they had a different port and tweeter arrangement. And the tweeter itself, instead of being that, machined aluminum, they were still aluminum, but they had like this black textured coating on them. So anyway, my brother had those speakers. I was using them, and I loved them. I was running them on a Harman Kardon PM660 amp, and I went into the stereo studio, I think it was, and I said, hey man, like, do you have anything that would compete with these Sound Dynamics? The guy pulls out these energies. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, really, you got to be kidding me. I even brought the Sound Dynamics with me so that they could hear them, and they were like, whoa, I think these sound better than the Sound Dynamics did. As far as sound quality goes, I think that these sound better. And as far as volume and punch and bass and that kind of stuff, do they have that? No, they're not that dynamic. These are energies, they're not sound dynamic, right? But anyway, they do rock out, and they sound really good doing it. Let you do some listening to them real quick. I'll run a frequency sweep now that I got that Dayton Omni mic that I can use versus, say, just using the Chromebook mic, and see our frequency response actually is on these. Now these speakers here, I'm going to maybe go inside there. It might be a good project to do, is go inside of here and change out the crossover. Like, not change it, but try to figure out exactly what components are in it and then replace them with better components. Because I'd like to hear these speakers with high-end crossover parts, because the rest of it is pretty good. All right, let's get started. So I'm all set up. Got the energies here. They're, you know, not that far apart, about 5 feet, because, well, that way you could see them in the camera. They sound a little bit better when they're further apart. I always tend to toe them in just a little bit. They sound okay when they're straightforward too, but I think that they sound a little bit better when they're just towed in a hair. I've got some of that high-res music. This track I'm about to play for you is that one with a lot of percussion in it, which is pretty cool, because to me anyway, the biggest thing, the biggest problem with small driver speakers is getting enough bass. A lot of small speakers do need a subwoofer to complement them. These ones are rated at 35 hertz, and whether or not they actually go down that far at reference level, I don't know. I'll have to measure it and see. But they sound like they put out a lot of bass. So it's possible. I know that they've got a really nice punchy sound to them, nice clear mid-range and vocals, and they're really good for a variety of music. So I'm going to fire up this track, see what you think. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll probably just stop it partway through and find something with some vocals in it so you can hear vocals too. And yeah, you tell me what you think about them. Now this is being recorded over my Pixel 7 phone. Hopefully I've fixed the audio settings that I had on from my last video, which I am so sorry if you watched that video. The voice, quiet, soft, music, very bland, and then you get close to the speakers and it's I'm going to try it here. Hopefully this sounds better. This I'll play at like -15, which is, for these speakers, they put out plenty of volume at that level, but they can really pound. And I might pound them a little bit just to demonstrate that. You want to hear what this sounds like with the subwoofer on? Subwoofer doesn't really do much for these. Adds a little tiny bit, but not much. I'll turn the subwoofer off. So it's just a little bit lower in here. Not much, about 5 dB lower. Got some vocals. Got some guitar.
I never made my decisions like a portrait in an art museum. I'm too concerned with the reaction of all this crazy world. And please don't show me a picture of that man I used to be. Those days are just my fiction. My beautiful
Turn this back down to -10. So we've done a little bit of listening to these speakers, and like I say, this is one of my favorite pair of speakers. But I'll go ahead and frequency test them, and let's see what the Energy 3.1Es do in room response. All right, well, here's the results. It's not too shabby. It's got a little bit of a suck out here, right around 2850. So that's probably where the crossover is. Tweeter, pretty nice. this is a lot of, I think, room reflection that you see there. Mid-range, very clean mid-range. And then of course the bass as well. Bass is very clean. So pretty decent set of little speakers, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I give the Energy 3.1 a thumbs up.